On this episode, the 4th of July. Howdy y'all, I'm Pastor Mark. I'm the pastor of Copeland Christian Church, and this is Theological Moments with Pastor Mark. Welcome to a special 4th of July episode. I hope that I find you well today and you are enjoying a day off to relax and enjoy and celebrate. So I just want to talk to you all this morning about freedom from a biblical perspective. Ultimately, it is God who gives us freedom so that we can choose Christ as our Savior and so that we can spend our time and energy doing kingdom work, proclaiming the gospel. And so as we look at 1 Peter 2:16, it tells us, live as free people, not using your freedom as a pretext for evil, but rather as God's slave. And this ties directly into what I've been talking about with my church for the past several months about making Christ the Lord of our lives, about being a servant to God's will over our own will. And so this freedom, it's not for extreme personal liberty to do whatever we want, but rather it is so that we can be God's servants, so that we can live in obedience to God's statutes and commandments. When we live in obedience to God, that is where we find true freedom. The freedom to live without sin, the freedom to overcome evil with good, the freedom to give to others, the freedom to forgive, and the freedom to live at peace, not only between one another as brothers and sisters, but also at peace as an individual. Galatians 5:1 says, for freedom, Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not be subject again to the yoke of slavery. And this yoke of slavery is a reference to sin. It's the yoke of sin that leads to death. It's the yoke of your fleshly desires, to your vices, to yourself, to your own will. There's a quote by a revivalist preacher that I can't remember from the 1800s, but the gist of it is that we need to be killing the flesh, or the flesh will kill us. And the obvious point here is that it is our fleshly desires, the sin, that causes us to pull away from God, away from Christ, away from true freedom, the freedom from sin and death. In this nation, we are so blessed to enjoy freedom, which has not existed any other time, in any other place in human history. This is a true gift from God, and it is the reason that we are able to openly meet in churches. It is the reason that I am able to post these videos on YouTube without fear of someone knocking down my door and dragging me off in chains. And so, surely, as we celebrate the independence of our nation today, this nation has yielded so much for us. It is proper to reflect and thank God. And so let us heed Peter's caution and use our freedom not as a pretext for evil, as a license to do whatever we want, but rather to be God's servants, to do God's kingdom work, to preach His gospel, to reach out to our neighbors in love, to live a life devoted to the observance of His statutes and enjoying true freedom. Not only the freedom to more or less do whatever you want as we can in this country, but the true freedom from sin and death found in Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching. Click the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate your support. God bless you. Happy 4th of July.